today. Yeah. And for the second, the student should be able to know the differences between reversible and irreversible form of cell injury. And for the third, the student should be able to describe the mechanism of necrosis. And for the last, the student must be describe the various type of necrosis and know some of the causes. So this is there are the learning objective for this material today. Okay. Next, for the introduction of the cell injury reaction, cell injury is about the underlies all of the disease. When a cell is exposed to an injurious agent, the possible outcomes are the cell might adapt to the situation, or the cell might acquire a reversible injury, or the cell might obtain an irreversible injury and might die, and the cells might die via one of two ways. For the first is necrosis, and for the second is apoptosis. Necrosis is an program of dead cell, but the apoptosis is a program of dead cell. So it's very normal, but necrosis is not normal. Okay. After that, if the cell injury happens, this outcome occur depends on both the injuries agent and on cellular factors. In other words, the result depends on the type, severity, duration of the injury, and on the type of the cells. So many factors can influence about the cell injury, and how the severity of the cell injury depends of many factors. Okay, can you catch my point? Hello?
Yes, Miss.
Okay. So we continue with the type of cellular adaptation. In this theory, there are many types of cellular adaptation. Actually, the cellular adaptation will be divided into 4 kinds. For the first is hypertrophy. What is hypertrophy? Hypertrophy is increase in the size of cells. Increase the size of the cells maybe can happen if the organs more work overload. So the size of the organ will be increased, and the increased cell size leads to increased size of the organs. For the example, in the left picture, you can see about the man. If men do the exercise more and more, like athlete maybe, so the cells of the muscles will be increased and the muscle will be increased too. And if the athlete do the exercise regularly in the day, and then it's can influence the heart, so the hearts will be more enlargement, and like this picture, this is a normal heart, and this is a heart with enlargement. But in abnormal cases, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or it can be look like with the enlargement of the heart, can happen if the patient have some disease of the heart, like hypertension, chronic hypertension, or failure, heart failure, like this. So some disease can make the organ more enlargement than before, than normal. Because why? Because the organ is usually overload of the work. So if the organ work more and more hard, it can make the cells will be enlargement, and so it can influence the organ more enlargement too. Oke ya. Jadi kalau misalkan ada kondisi hipertrofi, adalah kondisi di mana organ itu akan membesar, yang diawali dengan sel-sel di dalamnya itu membesar juga karena terjadi akibat dari dia itu bekerja terlalu keras. Gitu. Karena bekerja terlalu keras, seperti atlet yang dia olahraga terus, ataupun ada orang yang punya penyakit jantung, penyakit hipertensi, ataupun gagal ginjal yang akan menyebabkan jantungnya juga akan ikut membesar lebih dari normal. Okay. And for the next, the type of cellular adaptation is hyperplasia. What is hyperplasia? Hyperplasia is an increase in the number of cells, and it can lead to an increase in the size of the organs. Usually, hyperplasia caused by hormonal stimulation, like on the picture in the right side. This is a normal endometrium in your uterus. If your uterus is normal, this picture like this, normal endometrium. But if in some cases for the patient like endometriosis, endometrial will be hyperplasia, so the uterus will be more narrow because the cell of the uterus more increase the size of the cells of the uterus more increases. And also in men have specific organs like a prostate. This is a normal prostate, but in some cases like aging phase penuaan, aging phase, so the prostate will be more bigger than before, and it's called benign prostate hyperplasia. This is about the hyperplasia on the prostate. So in women have some risk to the endometriosis, and also in men have some risk to be enlarged prostate for the BPH or benign prostate hyperplasia. Okay. And for the third, the type of cellular adaptation is about the atrophy. Atrophy is atrophy is very different with hypertrophy or hyperplasia. Atrophy is what is kebalikan opposite. Atrophy is opposite with the hypertrophy. Atrophy is a decrease in the size of the cells, and this can lead to the decreased size of the organs. What the condition can make atrophy in some patients? Atrophy usually can be caused by disuse. If the organs is very seldom to use, like if the patient have some abnormality on the nerve or the muscle, so the patient can walk with the normally and see must to the sleep on the bed in every day. So this condition can initiate the muscle of the leg disuse. Disuse is means seldom to use, jarang digunakan. And then for the second causes is undernutrition. Like some cases in Indonesia in a child, like stunting. Stunting means if the child grow with abnormality, so the child will be more tiny and more short than the normal child in the mass. And for the third is the decreased endocrine stimulation, like lack of the growth hormone or lack of the testosterone or the estrogen hormone, so it can initiate or can influence the muscles, so the muscle can grow with a normally, so the muscle will be tiny than the normal. And then for the fourth is denervation, and for the 5 is about the old age. So it's very usual, it's very familiar if the grandma or grandpa will be more tiny than before they are young, because old age can stimulate the atrophy in the muscles. So it's the very usual, very usual. Okay. Until here, any question, guys?
Not yet, Miss.
Okay, for the fourth is about the metaplasia. Metaplasia is the replacement of one differentiated tissue by another differentiated tissue. Actually, in this theory, we can found the metaplasia will be divided into 2 types. For the first is about the squamous metaplasia. The squamous metaplasia, this is about the replacement of another type of epithelium by squamous epithelium. And it is usually happen if the smokers, like this in the picture in the right side, in the left side, you can see about the cell of the lungs, and this is a normally cell of the lungs, but because the patient happen metaplasia, so the cells must be changed into the another type, like this. Okay, and the second type of the metaplasia is about the osseous metaplasia. Osseous metaplasia about the replacement of connective tissue by bone. It is usually happen if the patient had some injury on the skin, and if the stage of the cure is not if the stage of the cure of the injury can normally happen, so the site of the injury will be changed into the bone tissue. Jadi ada kasus di mana beberapa orang yang terluka itu dia akan sembuh, tapi jaringan kulit yang luka itu berubah menjadi jaringan tulang. Jadi keras seperti itu. Itu kondisi yang disebut sebagai metaplasia. Okay, before we continue the lesson, I have some question for you. Can you explain to me, or can you answer with the short answer? You can write the short answer on the chat box. Can you differentiate about the necrosis and apoptosis, guys? Please write the answer in the chat box. Hello.
The difference of what, Miss?
Necrosis and apoptosis. Can you differentiate about that? Can you? Are you understand? Because if I don't give you some question, I think I just only self-talk, because I don't know all of you hear me or not, or listen my explanation or not. So can you answer my question, guys? Maybe I ask to the Rizky Samudra. Can you explain me with the short answer what is necrosis? Emiko Maria, maybe? Okay. I think you are not in Zoom. Can we close the lesson? If I just self-talk, it's very wasting time, I think. Jadi kita bisa tutup kelasnya aja ya. Soalnya saya kayak ngomong sendiri. Oke. Saya tanya lagi ya, kalau misalnya nggak ada jawaban lagi, mungkin kita bisa close the lesson today because I just self-talk. What is apoptosis, Faira?
Yes, Miss.
Can you explain me what is apoptosis or what is a necrosis? One of the type of the necrosis or apoptosis is okay. Can you? How about the Isnaini? Do you know what is apoptosis or do you know what is a necrosis? Then? Siti Mariam? Zuriatun? No one can answer me? Okay,
Yes.
please answer my question, maybe.
Izin menjawab, Miss.
Okay.
Necrosis is the death of body tissue. It occurs when too little blood flows to the tissue.
And how about the apoptosis?
Gimana, Miss?
And how about the apoptosis? What is the apoptosis?
Apoptosis is the death of cell which occurs as a normal and controlled part of an organism growth or development.
Okay. In the short, the apoptosis and necrosis is about the dead cells, but necrosis is unprogramming dead cells. Then the opposite with the necrosis is about the apoptosis, and apoptosis is about the programming dead cells. So it's very normally, but the necrosis is not normally, but the apoptosis is normally. Can you understand, guys?
Yes, Miss.
Okay.
Yes, Miss.
And then I will ask you some question again. What is a term if we talk about the enlargement of the cells? What is the term? Apa istilah pembesaran sel? Hello?
Hypertrophy and wait, Miss.
And atrophy, Miss.
No, hypertrophy is right, but no, not with the atrophy. Atrophy is the opposite with the hypertrophy. So the organ will be smaller than before. Okay. And why the hypertrophy can happen? Maybe Emik, can you answer me? Can you answer my question, Emik?
Yes.
What happened? What the condition can happen the hypertrophy?
The cell size remains, but the number of cells increase.
Increase, okay. And when the hypertrophy happen in this patient? Maybe someone can help Emik.
Karena peningkatan sel.
What is that?
Peningkatan ukuran sel.
This is about the definition of the hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is the enlarge of the size of the cells. But my question is, when the hypertrophy happens? Kapan hipertrofi itu terjadi? Or why hypertrophy can happen on this patient? Atau mengapa hipertrofi itu bisa terjadi?
Miss, hypertrophy happens 6 to 7 weeks of resistance training.
Okay, hypertrophy can happen if you have more exercise, or in short, if the organs work overload than normal, like alcoholism, so the hepar, also the hepar can enlargement, and it can be hepatocyte or etc. And the next question, please answer me. Why the atrophy can happen in this patient? Anyone can answer?
Yes, Miss. Can you say the question once again, Miss? I didn't hear.
Okay. When the atrophy or why the atrophy can happen to the patient? Mengapa atrofi bisa terjadi pada pasien? Before that, maybe we must know about what is the atrophy. Anyone can answer me?
Atrophy is a decrease in the size of a cell.
Okay, that's right. Atrophy is decrease and hypertrophy is increase size of the cells. And what time or why the atrophy can happen to the patient? Okay, Arman, you can answer.
Hypertrophy occurs occurs to repair the damaged cell tissue in human body and increase the size of cell.
Okay, thank you, Arman. But my question is not the hypertrophy, it's about the atrophy. Atrophy. If hypertrophy happen, if the patient work overload with these organs, and how about the atrophy? Kalau hipertrofi karena terlalu sering digunakan, kerjanya berlebihan. Kalau atrofi biasanya terjadi karena apa? Anyone can answer me?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, Emik, please.
Lack of physical activity due to injury or disease, poor nutrition, genetic, and certain medical condition can cause muscular atrophy.
Okay, that's right. Absolutely right. Okay. Do you know about the condition if the somebody less do activity what is the illness if the condition less activity? Do you know? What is?
It can stroke, malnutrition.
Okay, that's right, Arman. Yes, about the stroke, malnutrition. Yeah, stroke make the patient can do some activity, so it can influence the size of the organs like muscle. So the muscles will be smaller than before, smaller than before, and then it's called the atrophy. Okay, thank you for the answer, guys. And then we can continue the lessons. This is about the reversible cellular change and accumulation. Actually, reversible cellular change and accumulation can happen into two types. For the first, because of fatty change, this is accumulation of the triglyceride inside parenchyma cells. So it can caused by imbalance between the uptake, utilization, and secretion of fat. In some cases, fatty change usually seen in the liver. Liver is hepar, and heart, and kidney. So you can see on the picture, it is a healthy liver. But in the obesity men, on obese people, the fatty in this body more high, so the fatty can accumulate and the liver, so it can make the fatty liver. So the liver will be covered by fat and make the size of the liver more increased than before. Fatty liver also can stimulated by alcohol and maybe some case diabetic mellitus and malnutrition. And why malnutrition can make the fatty liver? Because in this case and in malnutrition, because the less nutrition, so the fat of the body or fat on the liver will be break down, and the more breakdowns make the fatty liver. And then this is very, very common is obesity. Obesity is more common of fatty liver. If you found some people with the bigger of the stomach because she has a lot of the fatty in the visceral organs, di organ-organ dalamnya, jadi perutnya buncit, it can indicate that the liver will be a fatty liver. And then poisonings, like some cases, if the some people with the chronic illness and if the patient must to take some medicine which regularly, it can make or it can stimulate the fatty liver. So we can see on the PPT, the etiology causes accumulation of fat in the hepatocytes by the following mechanism. For the first, increased uptake of triglyceride into the parenchyma cells. And for the second is about the decreased use of fat by cells. And the third is overproduction of fat in cells. And the fourth is decreased secretion of fat from the cells. Now, it's very common to the people have a fatty liver because the situation in pandemic make the people have less activity, and it can stimulate to eat more and more, so the weight will be higher than before, and it can be abnormal. And if the condition happen to be regularly, so it can make the fat in your body more higher than before, and it can stimulate it to have a fatty liver. So please make some exercise to make your weight normally, okay? And for the second, the cause of the reversible cellular change is about the accumulation of the pigments. Pigments can be exogenous or endogenous. Exogenous pigments are melanin, bilirubin, hemosiderin, and lipofuscin. And exogenous pigments, for the examples, include carbons like monocarbon. These pigments can accumulate in set cell in different situations. Please look at the PPT. What is the melanin? If you still remember when we study about the impeachment system with Bu Lutfi, you still remember about the melanin. What is melanin? Melanin is a brownish black pigment produced by the melanocytes found in the skin. Increase of melanin pigmentation is caused by sun tanning and certain disease like a nevus. Nevus means tahi lalat. Jadi ada tahi lalat yang terlalu gede, itu adalah karena adanya peningkatan melanin atau pigmen pewarna kulit, or malignant melanoma. Opposite with the increased melanin, decreased melanin pigmentation usually happen in albinism and vitiligo. So you must understand about the melanin. Jadi ada beberapa kondisi kalau misalnya melaninnya turun, biasanya terjadi pada albino dan pada kasus-kasus vitiligo, di mana kasus vitiligo pernah terjadi pada penyanyi kelas dunia yaitu Michael Jackson. And for the second of the pigment is about the bilirubin. Bilirubin is a yellowish pigment mainly produced during the degradation of hemoglobin. So bilirubin can make your faces more yellowish than before, and also your urine can yellow. It's work of the bilirubin. So bilirubin is about the garbage of the body. If the bilirubin can dibuang, tidak bisa dibuang itu cannot thrown away, so the bilirubin will be accessed in the blood, on your blood, so the condition is called jaundice, or it's called yellowish discoloration. And the yellowish discoloration can look at the sclera. This is a sclera. And then mucous and internal organs. But if we look at the patient, we can see at the sclera. If we look the sclera of the patient yellow than normally patient, so we can suppose the patient have increased bilirubin. Okay. And for the third is about the hemosiderin. Hemosiderin is an iron-containing pigment derived from ferritin, and it appears in tissue as golden brown amorphous aggregates. It accumulates in tissue in excess amount in certain disease. Hemosiderins cannot clear if we look only with eyes. So we must suppose the hemosiderin on the patient if we can look at the laboratory examination, because it's not clear in this physical assessment. But it's very different with bilirubin or melanin. If the higher melanin or the decreased melanin and of the excess bilirubin or hyperbilirubin, it can look just only on physical examination. Okay. Okay. Any question, guys? Not yet. Okay, not yet. We can continue the lessons. Okay, now we will discuss about cell death. Cell can die via one of the following two ways. We also discussed before about the necrosis and apoptosis. Necrosis is unprogramming cell death, but the apoptosis is programming cell death. Like in our body, we have some blood cells like hemoglobin, like erythrocyte. Erythrocyte have a long life until 3 months, and after 3 months, the blood cell of the erythrocytes will be apoptosis. This is a programming cells. Jadi apoptosis itu normal, tetapi nekrosis itu abnormal. Okay. This is the sample about the necrosis. This is abnormal cell death. In necrosis, if you look the picture, we can see the black of the side of the skin is about the cell of the skin will die cell of the skin. Jadi yang hitam-hitam itu adalah gambaran sel kulit yang mati. In necrosis, excess fluid enter the cells and swell it and rupture its membrane which kill it. After the cell has died, intracellular degradative reaction occur within a living organism. But necrosis just happen only in a live organism. If you found the dead organism, you can found the necrosis. Necrosis cannot occur in dead organism. Okay. What is etiology? What are the etiology can stimulate the necrosis? Necrosis actually occurs by the following mechanism. For the first is hypoxia. Hypoxia is the condition or the situation if the level of the oxygen will be decreased than normal. So if we monitoring the oxygen level on our body, we can use the oximeter. Oximeter we can use on the finger, on your fingers, and the normally oxygen level in normal people is average 98 until 100%. Before under 98 is abnormal, and it's really common on the COVID patients. And for the second, the necrosis can occur if the mechanism free radical induced cell injury. And for the third is cell membrane damage. And the fourth, increased intracellular calcium level. So the necrosis can happen without causes. Must be some condition we can initiate or we can stimulate. With stimulation, the necrosis happen. Okay, for the first or hypoxia, this is the sign of the hypoxia. Hypoxia means decreased oxygen supply to the tissue, and you can see the condition with the hypoxia if your finger or the patient fingers more dark than the part of the other part of the body. This condition usually happen if the people with the mendaki gunung, itu apa ya? Climbing the mountain. You can see the condition on the people with climbing the mountain. Why? Because in peak of the mountains, the weather more be cooler than before. Then in mountains the weather will be cold, and it can indicate that the oxygen levels will be decreased. So some people with climb the mountains will be the condition if the fingers will be dark than the other part of the body. If the condition severe, so the people must be amputation. If the conditions more extreme or severe than other cases. Okay, hypoxia can be caused by ischemic, anemia, carbon monoxide poisoning, and poor oxygenation of blood to the pulmonary disease. So we must know about some term in this PPT. What is ischemic? Ischemic is decreased blood flow or from an organ. Ischemic can be caused by obstruction of arterial blood flow. The most common causes are by decreased perfusion of tissue by oxygen-carrying blood as occurs in cardiac failure, hypotension, and shock. And what is about the anemia? Anemia is a reduction in the number of oxygen-carrying red blood cells. In this case, we talk about the hemoglobin. So anemia is the condition with the lack hemoglobin. The normally hemoglobin on men average 14 until 16 milligram per deciliters, but in women's average 12 until 14 milligram per deciliter. And then the third is about the carbon monoxide poisoning. Carbon monoxide decrease the oxygen capacity of red blood cells by chemical alteration of the hemoglobin. You can find the carbon monoxide into the water heater. Water heater, if you stay with the water heater in the long time, it can stimulate the carbon monoxide. So in some cases, usually you hear the case in newspaper if some couple died in the bathroom because use a water heater, and it can make the carbon monoxide poisoning. And for the fourth is about the poor oxygenation of blood to pulmonary disease. Okay. Now, can you differentiate about what is a hypoxia and what is different about the hypoxia and ischemic? Can you answer my question, guys? Teman-teman bisa jawab pertanyaan saya. Apa perbedaan antara iskemia dan hipoksia? Hello?
Yes, Miss.
Okay. Can you answer me?
Hypoxia is described oxygen.
Okay. Hypoxia is decreased. Yes.
And ischemia is described blood flow to or from an organ.
Okay. Right. If we talk about the hypoxia, it's about the decrease of the oxygen level in tissue. But if we talk about the ischemic is about the decrease of blood flow in the tissue. It means itu artinya sangat berdekatan, tapi sebenarnya maknanya beda. Ischemic happen usually common in the traffic injury, maybe like traffic accident, and the patient will be bleeding, so the blood flow will be reduced in our body, in the patient body, so it can make the ischemic condition. The ischemic condition must be stimulated the hypoxia. Why? Because in this blood we have erythrocyte, and the main job of the erythrocyte is to bring the oxygen into the cells. So if the blood flow reduced, it must happen ischemic. It must happen the hypoxia. Okay, can you catch my point, guys?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, thank you. And this is in the picture is about the hypoxic. Hypoxic, if increase, it can stimulate the mutation rates and drug efflux protein and insensitivity to P53. P53 is about the kind of the cytokine in our body. And if the oxygen level decrease, it can make the cell proliferation rate, oxygen and nutrition, drug permeability, and also soluble factors. Guys, I ask you some question again. How many the level of the normal of oxygen level in our body? How many the oxygen level in our body in normal condition?
Maybe 95% or higher?
No. Anyone else? Hello? 98% until 100%. It's a normally condition of oxygen level in our body. And what are the tools to can measure the oxygen level? Can you answer it?
Yes, Miss, can't hear it.
What the tools? What is the tools to measure the oxygen level in our body? Alat apa yang bisa digunakan untuk mengukur oksigen di dalam tubuh kita, kadar oksigen di dalam tubuh kita? Saya yakin beberapa dari Anda punya alat itu.
Oximeter, Miss.
Okay, that's right. Yes, thank you, Kina. It's about the oximeter. Oximeter is some tools to measure the oxygen level in our body. Okay, thank you, guys. Next, we will talk about the hypoxia can be divided into early and late stage. In early, it is a reversible stage of hypoxic cell injury, and so it be cured. But if the late condition is irreversible stage, so it can be cured and mostly the people will be dead in the late stage of the hypoxic. In early stage of hypoxic, at this stage, hypoxic results in decreased oxidative phosphorylation and ATP synthesis. But in late stage of hypoxic cell injury caused by severe or prolonged injury, and it is caused by massive calcium influx, very low pH, which lead to activation of enzyme which damage the cell membrane and organelle membrane. If you assess some patient with the hypoxic, you can know the patient on the early or late sign of the hypoxic by some condition. The early condition like the patient will be anxiety, cemas, bradycardy. Bradycardy is the pulse must be low. The normal pulse in adult people is average 60 until 80 pulse per minute. But bradycardy happen if the pulse be under of the 60 pulse per minute. And the cyanosis is mean pale. You can look the face of the patient more pale, jadi tampak pucat. And the decreased respiration, so maybe some patient will have condition with terengah-engah, like this. And then diaphoresis. Diaphoresis is some condition if your finger will be moist, will be moist, jadi lembab, terasa lembab. And disorientation, if you ask some things, the people can answer it, or they can focus on the topic, etc. And dyspnea. Dyspnea is the condition with the respiratory rate is not normally. Jadi kadang pernafasan kalau normal itu kan teratur gitu. Kalau dyspnea itu pernafasannya itu nggak teratur. And the light signs of the hypoxia is restlessness, headache, agitation, and poor judgment, retraction, tachycardy. Tachycardy is the opposite with the bradycardy. So the tachycardy is the pulse, is the condition if the pulse of the patient more 80 pulse per minute without the activity. Without activity. In the rest activity, the pulse more 80 pulse per minute. And tachypno. Tachypno means nafas cepat. Nafas cepat itu fast breath. Fast breath. Okay. This is some sign of the hypoxia, and so you can decide the patient in early or late signs. Okay, and the other condition can make the hypoxia is free radical induced injury. Free radical, what is free radical? Free radical is any molecule with a single and pair electron in the outer orbital. For the example, it's about the superoxide and the hydroxyl radical. But if you talk about the superoxide dismutase or SOD, this is about the superoxide dismutase. Superoxide dismutation is not the free radical, but this is about the antioxidant. Antioxidant is opposite with the free radical. If free radical make the body of the cells will be dangerous, but the antioxidant will be make the body more healthier. More healthy. Oh, not healthier, not more healthy, healthier. So the other of the antioxidants like glutathione, peroxides, catalase. This is about the superoxide dismutase, and in endogens you can find the seroplasmin or transferrin. Seroplasmin and transferrin is also the antioxidant. Okay. If free radical found in our body more higher than normal, it can make some severity in our body. So I think you must take some supplement which contain the antioxidant like a vitamin or glutathione peroxide. You can find in the collagen drink and also in some honey. You must drink some. You must take some honey. Okay. This is about the free radical. In the picture, you can look. The free radical is molecule with only one electron in outer orbital. So, if we know the water is means H2O, H second O, but the free radical, if the condition the O atom only alone. Jadi hanya sendirian. Jika atom oksigen hanya sendirian, ini akan disebut sebagai free radical. Molecule with only one electron in outer orbital. You must still remember if we talk about the electron, so the atom must have the negative bermuatan negatif. Dia pasti selalu memiliki muatan negatif. Kalau kita bicara elektron. And how about the atom with the positive load? What is the term? Apa istilah untuk atom yang dia memiliki muatan positif? Can you ask me? Can you answer me? what is the term if the atom have positive load? Hello.
Proton, Miss.
Okay, that's right. Thank you. This is about the proton. And what about the neutron? Can you explain me what is the neutron? Anyone can answer me?
Neutron tidak bermuatan. Neutral.
Okay, yes, neutral. Neutral atom. Thank you, Kina. Okay, this is a free radical, and if free radicals higher, so it can induce the steal electron and it can induce the cellular injury. Okay. Free radical injury can cause cell injury and cell death in cell membrane damage for the first, and for the second, increase intracellular calcium levels. Okay. In cell membrane damage, direct cell membrane damage as in extreme of temperature, toxin, or viruses, or indirect cell membrane damage as in the case of hypoxia can lead to cell death by disrupting the homeostasis of the cells. On the other hand, increased intracellular calcium level is a common pathway via which different causes of cell injury operate. For the example, increased intracellular calcium level is the damage leads to increased intracellular, the cell membrane damage can lead to increased intracellular calcium level. And the increased systolic calcium in turn activated enzyme in the presence of low pH. The activated enzyme will degrade the cellular organelles. This is some condition free radical injury. Okay, and after we talk about the necrosis, so we must know about the type of the necrosis. Actually, there are 4 the type of the necrosis. For the first, about the coagulative necrosis. Coagulative necrosis must often result from sudden eruption of blood supply to an organ. It is the condition some happen with the ischemic or infarction, especially to heart. But in the picture, for the example, it's about the kidney. Is it a kidney with coagulative necrosis? Because lack blood supply on the kidney, maybe in some cases like kidney stone, batu ginjal, so the blood flow will be reduced. And if the chronic condition happen, it make the ischemic in chronic ischemic, and it can lead the infarction. And for the second kind is the liquefactive necrosis. Liquefactive necrosis is characterized by degradation of tissue. The condition can happen if the type of the necrosis which results in transformation of the tissue into liquid viscous mass. So you can see on the picture, this is about the brain. with liquefative necrosis, and this part, the brain more be liquid than the other. This is necrosis liquefactive. It characteristically results from ischemic injury to the central nervous system. It also occurs in suppurative infection if the bacterial or fungi infection characterized by formation of the pus. Jadi kalau kita menemukan beberapa nanah di beberapa jaringan, itu bisa menandakan adanya nekrosis liquefaktif karena adanya infeksi bakteri atau infeksi jamur. Gitu. Jadi pada beberapa organ itu muncul seperti ini. And then for the third is about the fat necrosis. Fat necrosis can be caused by trauma to tissue with high fat content. In common cases is breast, or it can also be caused by acute hemorrhagic pancreatitis. But in the picture, this is a sample of the case with the fat necrosis in baby. You can see a nodule in baby's back, like fat nodule, and it means fat necrosis. And the fourth is about the causes necrosis. Causes necrosis means necrosis which can the tissue like a cheese, and it's common happen in the tuberculosis patient. So in the tuberculosis patient, you can see at the lung of the patient, the alveoli of the lungs will be necrosis, and the alveolus looks like a cheesy or caseous, like a yellow color in the alveolus. And the five is about the gangrenous necrosis. Gangrenous necrosis, this is due to vascular occlusion and must often affect the lower extremity and the bowel. It's called wet gangrene and it's called dry gangrene. Dry gangrene and wet gangrene is very different. Wet gangrene is complicated by bacterial infection. So the condition with wet gangrene we can find the pus on the wet gangrene. Jadi kita bisa menemukan banyak nanah pada gangren yang basah. But if the dry gangrene is just only coagulative necrosis without liquefative necrosis. So wet gangrene is about the gangrene necrosis if the coagulative necrosis will be work together with the liquefative necrosis. Okay, so the gangrene necrosis more severity than the other. Okay, until here, any question, guys? You catch my point?
Yes, Miss.
Okay. For the last, we must talk about the apoptosis. Apoptosis is the dead single cell with a cluster of organ cells, or apoptosis is a programming dead cell. So it's very normally. Apoptosis usually occur as a physiological process for removal or cell during embryogenesis, menstruation, or etc. So if you had a menstruation, actually it's about the apoptosis of the endometrium cells, because you had a pregnancy, you had not pregnancy, so endometrium must be must be thrown away to the body, and the condition is menstruation. The menstruation means apoptosis of the endometrium cells. Okay. Apoptosis is not followed by inflammation or calcification. So it's very different with necrosis. In necrosis, inflammation must be happen, but the apoptosis is not followed by inflammation or calcification. Okay. This is the differentiate about the necrosis and apoptosis. We can differentiate the necrosis and apoptosis by size, uptake, membrane, and organelle. If on the necrosis, the size of the cell will be swelling, but the apoptosis, the cell will be shrinkage. In uptake, on necrosis, cell content ingested by macrophage and significant inflammation, but the apoptosis, cell content ingested by neighboring cells. So no inflammatory response in apoptosis. And if we differentiate the necrosis and apoptosis by membrane, on necrosis, loss of membrane integrity, but in apoptosis, membrane bleeding, but integrity maintenance. On necrosis, cell lysis occurs, but on apoptosis, apoptotic bodies form. And if we differentiate by organelle, on necrosis, organelle will be swelling and lysosome leakage, but on apoptosis, mitochondrial lysis pro-apoptosis protein. And it's very good. On necrosis, random degradation of DNA. So, if the necrosis can be cured, it can be changed to the malignant cell or the cancer cells. But in apoptosis, chromatin condensation and non-random DNA degradation. Okay, this is the picture about the normal cell. If happen the necrosis, and on the right side is about the picture. A normal cell will be had apoptosis. Okay. Okay, this is the last slide about the pathology calcification. We can divide it into two: metastatic calcification and dystrophic calcification. What about the metastatic calcification? Metastatic calcification is caused by hypercalcemia resulting from hyperparathyroidism, milk alkali syndrome, and sarcoidosis. And dystrophic calcification is the condition occurs in previously damaged tissue such as area of cold trauma, tuberculosis lesion, scarred heart valve, and atherosclerosis lesion. So this dystrophic calcification is not caused by hypercalcemia, but metastatic calcification is caused by hypercalcemia. Okay, this is the last topic on this day. Any question before I close the class today, guys? Apakah ada pertanyaan sebelum saya menutup kelas ini? Hello?
Miss?
Yeah?
Miss, why people die using heater?
Water heater.
Yes?
Using heater, water heater. I think you mean water heater, right?
Yes, Miss, why people die using water heater?
Okay, because if we, some cases on the newspaper, we found the couple will be died. The couple died on the bedroom. Why? Because water heater in the small room on bathroom, the water heater will be menyedot apa ya? Menghisap. Will be sucking the oxygen level on this part. Jadi di kamar mandi itu kalau menggunakan air panas, oksigen dalam waktu yang lama, oksigennya itu semakin lama semakin berkurang. Why? Because the temperature was high. The temperature was high will be influence the oxygen level. Jadi kalau misalkan teman-teman itu kepanasan, itu kan teman-teman itu pasti membutuhkan oksigen lebih banyak. Sometimes if we run, we still we need take oxygen more and more. Jadi kita membutuhkan oksigen lebih banyak ketika suhu tubuh kita itu tinggi. So the condition, the couple will be died if they use the water heater in a long time, because the condition, the oxygen level in this room and in their body will be decreased, and the sign of the hypoxia in early stage is the people cannot focus about that. They are unconcentrated about the condition. In some case, the people people use the water heater in long term will be pingsan itu apa ya? Fine, will be fine, pingsan, like middle coma maybe, and if no one cannot help them, so there will be die. Are you understand, Arman?
Yes, Miss, I understand.
Okay, sorry, I very difficult to explanation with English, but I think you must a smart student, so you can understand what I mean. Yes, like.
Yes, Miss, I understand.
Thank you, Arman.
Welcome, Miss.
Any question again? Guys, any question again? Okay, not yet? Not yet? Yeah. Okay, if no question again in this session, so we must close the lesson today. Thank you for your participation, and I hope you can understand with my explanation. And if you have some question to ask me, you can ask me on the WhatsApp, and I try to answer it. Okay, thank you. Please say hamdalah together. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Okay, and happy fasting to all of the people in this class. Bye-bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh. Bye-bye, Miss. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Miss.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Welcome.
Thank you, Miss.
Okay.
Gilman.